Hey everyone, welcome to Freedom Ranch Homestead. Recently we had our neighbor Kenan come over and help us with phase one of our beekeeping journey. And now he's coming back to help us with the next chapter and learning a little bit more about our bees. So Kenan, you're back here. You were here just a few days ago checking on the hives. And now what are you doing today?
Today we're going to do a light combination. So we got 3 frames of bees in brood and feed that I took off my large hives. So there's 5 frames total in here. 2 are empty. 1 of them's food. 2 of them are bees and brood. And we're going to put this paper on top of the hives we already have. And then we're going to set this box on top of the paper, and then we're going to poke little holes in the paper so the bees' pheromones can go between the papers, and that's going to make them, they'll know somebody else is there and they get angry about it, and they're going to try to chew through the paper, and it's going to take them 3 to 5 days to chew through. But as they chew through, the ones up here and the ones down here are going to start to get used to each other, and gradually they'll mix. So hopefully they don't just go into like a fight, like death fight. If we just put the boxes on without the paper, it'd be a massacre.
So their pheromones kind of merge together?
Yep, over 3 to 5 days. So in the hives we have here already, we have capped queen cells, or raising new queens. And the idea is that it's easier to integrate a new population of bees with another population of bees if there's a newly hatched or virgin queen in the other hive. You can do it with mated queens, but it seems to be a little bit better if they're not mated. So in an ideal world, 3 to 5 days from now, we're going to have a newly hatched queen in that box. This box will be fully combined with that box, and the hive as a whole will be boosted in the amount of brood it has, and it'll have a little boost in the amount of food, and it'll have a big boost in the amount of bees. So hopefully when that queen is mated, this will become a full-size colony and they'll be ready to rock. So we're just going to do that with both of the hives. Give them a little smoke, knock at the front door, a little up top. So I can see them up in there. They're moving around doing their thing.
And it's 3 layers just because it takes them longer to chew through?
2 to 3.
2 or 3 layers?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 really is sufficient. You can imagine they're just, because I'm going to pop these little holes in here.
So the holes are not big enough for them to crawl through. You're just getting little holes where the pheromones come through.
Put it up here. It's a telescoping cover, so when you put it up here, you gotta move this cover back so they can't escape off that front hole. That's it. We'll come back, check on Sunday, and hopefully we'll find a merged, unmated queen in there. All the boxes will be combined, and then we'll just have to wait for the queen to be mated a couple weeks down the road.
Okay. All right, Kenan, what are we going to do today?
Well, let's see. Last time we were here, we added the top boxes for combinations to build strength with the hives and give them a little extra food. So today we're going to check and see if they've successfully combined, and then we're going to go down below and see if our queen cells have hatched. And we're just going to go through the frames real quick, see if they're bringing in nectar, and if the queen cell has hatched, we're going to take a good look and see if we can find a virgin queen in there.
On last time, I remember one side the holes weren't poked in there.
I thought that I forgot to poke the holes on the paper, so they still may have combined. If they haven't, it's fine because they have their food source up there, but we'll poke the holes in it this time.
And then it'll just take them 3
It'll
days.
just take them another 3
Okay.
days. It's not a big deal. Don't need much smoke. We got our tool. Get my hood here. And then if everything looks good, hopefully we'll come back next week and find mated queens that have started to lay eggs.
I'm amazed that that little bit of smoke makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay, so we got bees up top still, a bunch of them. And then once we have a mated queen, we're gonna see if we can catch her and mark her. Every year, there's a different color to mark your queen. And it cycles every 5 years. Once you got a marked queen, she's a lot easier to find. Now, right off the top, I don't see that they have combined.
How do you know they haven't combined?
They haven't. I'm not seeing that they've chewed through the paper.
Okay.
No, they have in the back. I'd like to see what's going on downstairs here. We can put that paper back. And we like to keep them calmer if we cover them. You think the thing, like, if we weren't in these boxes, so these hives would never see the light of day. It's very, they don't like it. Actually open them up and for us to be peeking in there. So now we're going to be looking for the queen cells. Same thing, a lot of fresh nectar, pollen. I can see that we got a little bit of capped brood in there, but this box has been here long enough where most of the brood that had been capped has already emerged. So these frames have good weight. You can tell that we got plenty of food, no worries there. Go down to the next box. I didn't see what would be an emerged queen cell. Nectar, pollen. I'm not seeing anything there. It's like most of the activity is happening up in the other box.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put the other box back and just do a quick look in there again. Set the boxes on here so nobody gets squished. You kind of like move it around a little bit and they get out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take another quick look through there. It's not unusual to have a queen who's been emerged and you just don't find her. Got a lot of capped honey food there. I'm taking a better look in case I do see her. And usually you can spot the queen because she's always moving. Like a lot of the other bees, they keep their heads down in the cells. Definitely don't see eggs, so we know for a fact that we don't have a mated queen. Wouldn't expect to, but that's the one thing when you go into a beehive is, do you see eggs?
So once we start seeing eggs, then we'll know we have a mated queen.
Or we'll have a hive that is queenless, and now the worker bees have started laying eggs because it's been so long without a queen. And that's called a laying worker hive. And it's basically about the most you can do with that is use it with combinations for other hives and resources. You cannot bring a laying worker hive back by giving them a new queen. So I'm not seeing her there. So the one other thing what's going to happen though is if we go another week and we don't see a mated queen, we don't see eggs, we'll take a really good look to see if we still have a virgin queen, but then we still have an opportunity to introduce another queen if need be.
Okay.
Because we're not seeing anything here, we're actually going to go through this top box. Top box probably has queen cells in it as well because we gave them frames with brood that still had eggs on them. So then I'll have to decide, do we want to keep those cells or do we get rid of them?
So is it possible that she's out flying and looking for mates?
I know when they emerge, it takes a couple of days for her to harden off. And then after her body hardens off, she'll start to do orientation plays. So yes, if she had emerged, let's say 3 days ago, she very well could be flying around. So we're gonna put the paper back on here. We're gonna go through this one. I wanna make sure that we don't have a bunch of queen cells here. I'm gonna assume that she's emerged. But we won't know anything truly definitive for about another week, I'd say. You can see this is where they ate through on the back side just a little bit.
And right.
and a little bit up front there. So they've been working on it, but cannot guarantee that they've been fully combined yet. People clean emergencies upstairs. I don't know that either. We're going to leave that in place for now. Take a look up here. Okay, so we got our cat brood right here. That's a queen cell and they got royal jelly in it. So they're trying to raise a new queen
Right in there, you see the white?
Well, I'm going to have to decide if I want to get rid of that or not. I'm feeling like, and then when you get rid of it, you just gouge it out. This is all capped regular worker bee brood.
Yeah.
These are drones.
Okay.
The bigger ones.
The ones that stick. Just the eggs are bigger. Is that it?
They're just bigger bees. We got a bunch of food and nothing. So we're going to let them continue on with what they've been doing. And we're going to get rid of this one queen cell, assuming with the assumption that we have a hatch queen downstairs. We want these guys to think that they don't have any chance of raising a new queen. So that's all we can do in here until next week. And by next week, we'll know very specifically what the next move is.
Okay.
So
at that point, we'll either have a queen or we won't.
We either will or we won't.
Okay.
Yep. And if we don't, I have an opportunity to take some from and put her in a cage and actually physically introduce a queen, because we're getting to the point where we don't want them to go too long without a queen. What I remember is this hive was not quite as robust as the other one. These up top. Went out and got fresh paint for your beehives. You're going to get some pretty blue and turquoise and
is that right?
green.
Nice.
It's the same thing with bee. You know, you think of a beehive and like white hives.
Right.
Bees don't actually see color. They see like tones of gray, light and dark.
Really?
If you got a bunch of hives, they'll actually recognize their own hive based on the pattern of the darks and the lights and the colors. So it doesn't always make sense just to have white hives. So this one, when I look at that, these fully combined. Even though I didn't put the holes in there, all that paper's been chewed out. I'll pull the box off, let's see it, but there's no paper left there. So we're looking for queen cells up here to see if they made new queens from the frames that we gave them in the combination. Keeping half an eye for a virgin queen just in case. The nice thing about these combinations of what I'm not seeing is a bunch of dead bees. If you got a bad combination, they're going to fight to the death, and then you're going to see all kinds of dead bees at the doorstep. This is interesting. Look at all that brood in there. See all the little larvae, shiny white larvae and stuff? That's uncapped brood. They cap
You're talking about right in this area?
All the white, all the little bunch of little grubs.
Oh, down there. Oh, yeah, I see them
all
now.
Of them.
Yeah.
All right, so, and then when I look in here, I see them all the way out to the edge. Like, there's like almost like that starts a little mini jelly looking things out here. Those are babies. That's what they look like after they become almost, based on what I see, I'd almost expect to see eggs, because these larvae are so young, which is interesting. These have fully merged, and what I'm seeing, larvae, they cap the larvae at 8 days, so this larvae is less than 8 days old. So now I'm looking, keeping my eye out for queens. I just find it interesting that we've got that many uncapped larvae in here after they've been in here.
Would that mean that there's likely a queen in there?
If I saw eggs, I would say yes.
Okay.
And I'm not. Eggs can be really hard to spot. They're like these little tiny tic-tac looking things where you just got to hit them in the sunlight, right, to see them. But this hive's looking pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's funny because, like you said, this was the weak one.
We got a bunch of little larvae in here too.
Look at the number of bees. Now and this right here.
That's nectar.
Okay.
We got larvae, we got...
And when do they start converting all this to honey?
Well, once it's in there, they cure it.
They cure it.
Have to
so nectar just gets cured. It doesn't get redigested and...
Not at this point when they're bringing it in. They are consuming it as they bring it in because they need to eat. But when you see open nectar, they're reducing the amount of moisture in it to the point where they can cap it. And then once it's capped, it's good forever.
Okay.
All right, so They've not brought in enough fresh to actually start capping, and when you see capping, it's like a brand new, really bright looking wax.
Okay. So this time of year, are they at their kind of their calmest in terms of stinging? Because in the August, September time frame, they'll get a little grumpy.
It's crunch time to bring in food, so when the food is out there, they're, like they say, as busy as a bee. All they care about is bringing in food.
So do you ever wear gloves?
If I'm starting to get stung. If you get stung, like an emergency distress pheromone is left with the stinger,
Okay.
and that alerts other ones to come to that point and do the same thing. You can neutralize the pheromone with smoke from your smoker, but it kind of depends on why I got stung. Like if I accidentally squished one or something, you know, is like my fault. But if they're starting to get a little upset and I get stung, I'll probably put on my gloves. Look at that.
Wow.
And they chew it, basically just spit it out. So I don't see much going on here at all. A lot of empty cells. I don't see any larvae, which is interesting. But most of them are probably hatched off. It wouldn't surprise me if they moved up here because that's where the food was. Hadn't seen any hatched queen cells. Like I said, I don't remember where they were at. So now, since we didn't see it there, we really want to see a hatched queen cell. A lot of times when you do have a laying worker hive, you'll see eggs and you'll see larvae, but it won't be, look at that, that's a hatched queen cell.
Okay.
She's not in there and she's somewhere else.
Okay.
So we know, very good chance, we're gonna have a queen. I wouldn't have expected her to be mated yet, but I find it really crazy how much larvae we have upstairs.
Yeah.
What I was saying is if it's a laying worker hive, there's a pattern on each frame, and we're not going to see it down here, but typically in a healthy frame, the center is going to be like a football shape of brood and larvae and cat brood, and on the outsides we're going to see nectar and pollen. Like when bees get weird and they don't have a queen or it's a laying worker, they don't function the way that they should if they have a normal healthy hive, and you'll see like an egg here, or maybe a cell with like 2 eggs in it, or just like really spotty and no nice formation, no structure to it. I'm done in here. We saw the hatched queen cell. We got empty frames here. The one thing I'm going to do is, because bees typically they build from the bottom up.
Okay.
If we've got empty frames here, and I know we had empty frames in the middle, I'm going to take, and they're fully combined, I'm going to take this downstairs, and that's going to promote them to go up.
Yep.
And build up the hive. We didn't see any other queen cells, so the hive itself is not trying to make new queens at this point.
Okay.
And that one has a lot of weight, which is nice. We have got a lot of food. So my assumption is we either have a virgin queen or already a mated queen, which would seem too soon to me, but
Yeah.
all of that larvae is very encouraging in general. So I'm going to expect that next time we come back in here, we're going to find the eggs and probably a mated queen. And that one's a little bit more of a mystery at this point.
Yeah.
But it's funny how they, like, that was a strong one,
exactly.
This was a little bit down, and they do that. Like it's,
Right.
and that's why in the summer, early spring, you need to be in here checking them every 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
Because the whole structure and the health of the hive can change in a week. And as a beekeeper, you need to get whatever intervention needs to happen. Overall, I'd say things are on track.
Thanks for watching. Be on the lookout for more beekeeping videos to come.